guys that did some good things. So we'll look forward to having Coach Lowe up after the game. So stick around after the game. We'll talk with Coach Lowe. First time we've gotten to chat with him on the air this year, so might have a couple of questions to ask him and get a little insight on heading into the conference opener tomorrow at DeQueen. Babb, the batter in the 9-hole. He is quickly way ahead, 3-0. Carson Harris, the third pitcher of the game for the Wolves. And there's a strike. 3 balls and a strike.
Well, Harris starts on that far first base side of the rubber. Not in the middle, starts on the far first base side of that rubber to kind of give him another angle.
He does, and he's the only thing touching it is the tip of his toe. And Babb now has let the count run full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That last strike was one that was probably not one I would have swung at, and he didn't, and he paid off because he draws a no-out walk. And so just like he is prone to do, Carter Babb's on base. And that's exactly what you need in this position. Chris Babb is base runners and a lot of them.
Yeah, you got to have base runners. Win with a big swing right there. That left foot still coming out just a little bit, not towards the pitcher, a little bit too far towards the third base on that swing.
Pentecost watches a strike that is barely on the black.
Well, you talked about Tate Goodrum working fast. Carson Harris works fast as well. Fielders have to like that.
Yeah, and hitters not so much. There's a dribbler to second base. Someone's going to be safe, and it is going to be Carter Babb at second. The play brings the second baseman toward the first base bag.
Yeah, Wynn wanted to get a base hit on that. He does advance the runner, but right now up 5 in the top of the last inning, top of the 7th. Lake Hamilton will trade a base runner, another base for an out.
That is correct, and
that is a tough pitch to hit.
Tate Goodrum now 0-1 the count to Badger third baseman. Outside pitch. Harris living on that outside, and he's getting it. You know, Bardwell got it most of the game. Got that outside corner. It worked for him, and Harris saw that. Now he's going there and getting a couple of those for himself. And there's a ball that's hit right at the shortstop. He gloves it up across the diamond, and a nice stretch play made over there by the first baseman, Grant Bearden.
You know, Arkadelphia has seen 3 pitchers, and they all have different arm slots. You know, you've got the lefty Bardwell coming at you. You go to the righty, a little bit submarine, a little lower arm slot, and now you have the heater with more over the top from the right side.
Carson committed to play for the Reddies at Henderson State, so a little connection there to Clark County, at least upcoming connection to Clark County, as Carson Harris will be joining the Reddies next year. Coach Hooten.
A good eye by Trip Campbell to even the count at 1-1. That breaking ball, he tried to get the back door, backside of that plate. Umpire just didn't give him.
Ball and a strike, fouled back for second strike of the at-bat. So Arkadelphia down to their last strike.
Yeah, and here's another spot. 1 run's not going to make a huge difference in the game, but you would like to just get in the rhythm of trying to get runners home from third base.
Ball is shot down the left side, foul and out of play. Campbell staying alive, down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Badgers down to their last at-bat, or their last hitter and their last strike. It comes on the outside, just missing.
Yep. That would not have been the one you want to get rung up on since it was outside. It was a great pitch. It was a better take by Trip Campbell.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 aboard that, trailing 7-2, swing and a miss, and that's your ball game. Badgers did some good things and some not so good things. We talked about it being a learning by fire, trial by fire here for a lot of these youngsters, and you know, they've got a lot to be proud of and some things to really work on.
Yeah, you know, you have 3 situations in this game where, you have runners at third base, and you just can't get them home. You've got to be able to get the runners at home. We go back to the fourth inning, the top of the fourth. I think that's the moment, a moment of the game there that Bardwell was able to get out of the bases loaded jam with no outs. He got a double play, and he gave up 1 run, but still at that point when you're up 4, you'll trade 2 outs for 1 run any day. He got the double play to get 2 outs, made it 4-1, and was able to strand another Badger. So, yeah, it was just missed opportunities. You've got to get in that rhythm where you're able to get guys home, and able to score runners when you have them in scoring position. There were 2 innings in this game when Arkadelphia, defensively were not able to. Lake Hamilton jumped out with 3 runs in the first, and then they had 3 runs in the 5th, I believe, and the 2 of those scored because of miscues in the field. So a lot you can take from this. You just got to shore it up defensively and try to get in that rhythm where you're getting the base runners home however you have to.
Yeah, Arkadelphia, a young team. They're going to do some good things this year. They're going to learn a lot. Coach Lowe is using every opportunity he has to develop not only the youngsters that he has, but these kids that, like Drew Rogers and Preston Tomorrow. This is not a rebuilding year. We don't like to talk about rebuilding or any of that because those young men deserve a chance to win and have every effort on their behalf as well. And I think Coach Lowe and Coach Evans are going to do that. We're going to see, a whole different level tomorrow night as we go to DeQueen, and I know the Leopards will be ready for it. They're going to be well coached. They're going to be well prepared. And the Badgers, we like to see their starting pitching though. Outside of that first inning, Tomorrow didn't do too bad. He had 5 great innings of work against Jacksonville. He comes back with pretty good work other than that first inning. But then you see those young arms start to come in, and tomorrow night we're most likely going to see Donovan Witten. He's probably going to be your starter tomorrow night. Donovan, one of those guys that can come in and give you, anywhere from 3 to 5 good innings of hard work. And then you've got all those arms still available that other than Preston, that are going to be available tomorrow night. Then you're going to have a couple of nights off. You're going to have a couple of nights of rest before the big home opener against Bauxite. It all means a little bit more when you're back at home.
Yeah, and you take a look at DeQueen. DeQueen, I believe, if the schedule's correct, 1-2. They were able to play 3 games last week. They hosted a tournament. They lost to Murfreesboro 7-0. They defeated Broken Bow, Oklahoma, Coach Crocker's first win, 6-3 on Friday, I believe, and then Saturday lost to Genoa Central 12-4. So 3 games under the belt, 1-2 record for DeQueen coming into tomorrow night's game. But as you mentioned, we had the graphic up of the starting lineup, and it said 1-2 for Arkadelphia, now 1-3, but 0-0 is the thing that matters. And this is going to be a tough conference race. You're going to try to, I don't know if the conference has determined if there will be a district tournament or not. I know that for basketball, that decision was made late in the season, just depending on COVID protocols and what the AAA was going to do. So not exactly sure how all that will play out. But nevertheless, you've got to try to get out to a quick start tomorrow against DeQueen. This is a game that Arkadelphia lost last year, if I remember correctly. And so you're getting on a bus, you're going 2 hours, you got to be in the right frame of mind and come out ready to play mentally and physically, and try to take advantage of what you can when you have those scoring opportunities.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and Arkadelphia is gonna get better as the year goes. Again, we're just happy to be playing baseball. This time last year we were 1 game away from shutting this thing down for an entire year, and watching those 12 seniors, try to make the best out of the situation. And that group of athletes was very decorated, as far as baseball wins. They had a conference win in Coach Lowe's first year here. A lot of those were 2-time state champion football players, Quiz Bowl champions. A lot of winning baseball was just taken, or a lot of winning period was taken away from those young men. And these guys are what we have this year, and we're going to make the best of it, and they're going to win some games.
Well, and we're glad to be playing baseball, but you sure would rather be 3-1 than 1. We're glad to be playing. You're a whole lot more happier. for the coaching staff and players when they're winning more often than not. And it's a young season. You mentioned the schedule. Jacksonville was not a bad baseball team. Lakeside, is going to be good. Lake Hamilton is a good baseball team. This reminds me of several years ago, Coach Matros and I were looking at his non-conference schedule to start the season. He was like, I'm going to play Bryant. I'm going to play in this tournament against Little Rock Central. I'm going to play Little Rock Christian. And there were a couple of times when he said, I need to get ready for conference. And then at some point you're like, oh, I don't know if I should have done that or not. But nevertheless, just be glad to be playing for a while and still want to correct your mistakes and shore up some of those things and improve offensively.
Well, I for one want to thank the staff here at Lake Hamilton. Everyone has been very polite, very very nice. They went out of their way to make us feel comfortable here in the press box. The ladies that were here with us calling the game for Lake Hamilton, very very cordial. Again, nice atmosphere. Great place to play baseball. Wish the outcome would have been a little better, but congratulations to Lake Hamilton and Coach Wiggin. They deserve it. They were very well prepared and a good-looking baseball team. They'll go far this year, and we're going to see the junior Badgers, the JV version of Arkadelphia, getting some warm-up tosses. They're going to get a few innings in, and that's always good for the young guys.
It is, and traditionally, you're going to play the 7-inning varsity game and then a 3-3-3 for JV. And there were a few years. I remember the last couple of years I was athletic director. You'd play against teams, and you're like, I don't know if we'll have enough to play a JV game. But every game on the schedule this year is a varsity followed by a JV. And Arkadelphia's got 25 to 28 guys on that roster. And you play 11 or 12 in the varsity game, depending on pinch runners and courtesy runners and things like that. But you've got a lot. This is you and I are looking out there. We'll flip the camera. Forget we have cameras. There are a lot of guys out there on the team. There are a lot of. This is a ninth grade group and a ninth grade group that has a lot of players that play baseball and sophomores as well. So there are numbers, and they need to get at bats. They need to get pitching. They need to get reps in the field because that's how you get better. And there's that's why they are playing JV games after every varsity game this season.
And there's a couple of guys we may see before the end of this year step up and get some varsity work in. Katie Young's a great baseball player. He spent a lot of the first part of the season and the off season playing basketball, so he's still getting into baseball shape. And some other guys out there as well that we could see getting some playing time. Nigel Robinson, one of those guys that a big kid that when he gets a hold of the baseball, it goes a long way. And so in different roles, we may see some pinch running. We may see getting these guys in. But, again, you're not throwing these upperclassmen under the bus because of such low numbers of those guys. Right. You're still getting them in there and letting them get their money's worth, but there's definitely a good crop of kids behind them.
Yeah, I believe Friday night KD got a pinch running appearance, a courtesy runner for one of the players, and I believe Carter was up at bat, and the umpire, which I believe it was the only one they had at that time, the umpire said, what is he pinch running that big old boy for? And Carter looked at him and said, you've never seen him run, have you? And, but it was KD is not your typical runner like that. He is a lot faster than he looks like he would be, and he's a good third baseman. You might see him play some third in some spots later this season.
Well, it looks like Coach Lowe he's got his group of players down there, and he's going to be doing some coaching here. So we're probably not going to see Coach Lowe. We'll get that and hopefully have that for you tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night at the close of that game. Hopefully after a win, we'll be able to recognize that player of the game. It's been a pleasure calling the game here with you, Chris Babb, this afternoon at Lake Hamilton. Not sure if you'll be able to join me again tomorrow night. I hope so, at least for part of the broadcast. I know you got your own duties there at Washita Baptist, and you got a big home series this weekend, I understand.
Well, yeah, it's softball and soccer, but I will be able to make the trip. Actually going to head over tomorrow early, visit with the DeQueen High School television production teacher, try to meet with some of his students to talk about some of the things we're doing at our program at OBU, take a look at some of the things they're doing and be there for the baseball. It's actually the former baseball coach at DeQueen is now the communications director and journalism teacher at DeQueen High School, Bo McCaslin, former videographer at KRK. So we'll be there again tomorrow in West Arkansas.
Sounds great. Well, we will be back on the air sometime between 4:45 and 5 o'clock. First pitch is scheduled for 5 o'clock.